Good morning, everybody, especially on this cold January day. I'm Mike. This is Bishop's Bounty Outdoors. YouTube, we are going to do a little video today on flintlock muzzleloader hunting, something that I'm passionate about, but to be completely honest, I suck at. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a video of what I do. My hunting tactics work, my shooting skills with a flintlock, not so much. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what I do. This is one of those YouTube channels. It's open to comment, also open to extreme humor, and sarcasm, both of which I enjoy, and you'll see some in the videos. Don't hesitate to go ahead and give your opinions, especially for any older viewers that have more experience with flintlock muzzleloader hunting that can say, hey Mike, this is what I would recommend, this is what I do. I'm all ears. I am by no means the master of everything. I'm the okayest hunter you'll see on YouTube. So I'm always open to criticism, and I'm an open book. But I will show you once we get out there the hunting setup that I use. Specifically today, we're not going to sit around and just hopefully wait for a deer on a cold day. It's not super windy, but I prefer to walk around, see if we can lightly bump some deer up, get them to stand and present us with a shot. That worked a lot for me just over gun season and to include archery season as well. Both of those, unfortunately, I don't have videos for because I wasn't having a YouTube channel at the time. So just hang on, and we'll go ahead and show you what I'm getting ready to do here. All right, everybody, we've made it to where we're going to be hunting here today. For those of you who don't know me, I live in South Central Pennsylvania. I'm never going to tell you my exact hunting spots. I don't think any good hunter would tell you exactly where they hunt. But we hunt in different valleys in the South Central area, close to Harrisburg. Typically, I'll go from anywhere from all the way up towards Halifax and Armstrong Valley, all the way down to Fishing Creek Valley, for those of you who know where that is. And I'll hunt in between those different valleys like Clark, Stony. I do a variation of hunting public land, mostly private. So I'm not going to sit here and say that, you know, I go out and bag a bunch of deer on public land, because that would be a lie. I do some public land hunting, but that's not always what I do. So like I told you earlier, I'm going to show you what I hunt with. This is actually my Hawkins muzzleloader. It's a flintlock rifle. That's what's in season right now. You can use either a bow or flintlock during this time of year. This is predominantly what I use and miss a lot with. So my typical loadout for this rifle can do a different variation of different rounds. I do a little more traditional for this time of year. No pun on the name of it being traditions and hunting traditionally. So I'm using 100 grains of 2F black powder, and I use a patch and ball load for inside of that. I'll do a video some other time of how to load all of this and what I typically do for cleaning and all that sort of other things, so you as the viewers can know how to use that. But it is a flint ignition system, hence the name Flintlock. It's a pretty basic setup, nothing that's over the top. This is the same types of rifles that your forefathers would have used back in the 1700s. So for the rest of the video, I'm going to be wearing a chest rig as we walk out and about, going into the woods. This property has a bunch of deer on it. It's always held a lot of deer. There's actually several other people that hunt here, which I find humorous that they say they don't see any deer, but they've also hunted the same stands for 20 plus years and refuse to hunt anywhere else. So you're not always going to see deer if they're not going to be in that place in time. This time of year, it's crucial to go ahead and kind of push into where they're bedding, see where they're at, and give them a little bump. They're not having the stress on the deer herd like they have during our rifle season. Pennsylvania has a ton of stress during the rifle season on the deer herd, so they're very skittish. But this time of year, they've kind of calmed down, and I found that it's really easy to walk up on them and try to get a shot on them. So just stay tuned, and we'll see how we can make things work. So another thing that I recommend doing, and I haven't done it much coming up here this far, and we'll probably start doing it here more, is when you're doing any type of still hunting, is when you start getting back into an area that typically holds deer. You can see this is really thick through all this area. This property was timbered probably a little over between 10 to 15 years ago, and the deer really gravitate up in here because it's just so thick. And even though it's windy, like down in here, I'm really not feeling that much wind, so it's a good wind break and it's good cover for the deer. So typically what I do is I'll take my time walking slowly, and then I'll just stop, look, listen for a little bit, and then I'll start walking again. So that's probably what we're going to start to do, because normally I would see some deer just over in there in that landing when I come up, but I didn't see any. So my guess is if we keep going down this trail here some more, we should probably see some. The speed that I'm walking at right now is actually how fast I would recommend you walk for any type of still hunting. And as you can see, as I'm walking, I'm just slowly putting my feet down and kind of rolling it so the leaves don't crunch as much. Because if you're just walking normally, that's all the sound you're making. You just want to slowly roll your feet down. It makes it much easier. I'm going to stop talking now and just pay attention and see if I can hear anything. I hear deer running right now. Up that way. You guys probably can't hear it on the camera, but there's actually, it sounds like a decent group of deer that are running up there. And that's one of the advantages they have bedding in here. They can see your movement through the trees, and they probably heard me back there walking, and they can take off running. That's why they call it hunting. You're not always guaranteed to get something. might be running this way. I don't know. I keep hearing them running. Definitely deer. That's also why it's important. Obviously, I'm talking for the camera, but when you're walking up here is not to talk. Be as quiet as possible so you can hear those things. And if you ever bump deer when you're walking like this, don't be discouraged and go, oh, nuts, I'm headed back to the truck. You know, I scared them. A lot of times deer, specifically doe, will run 100, 200 yards. And if you're walking in a large tract of land, whether it's public or this area where I'm hunting on private, don't hesitate to still hunt in the direction that they ran. A lot of times they're going to run anywhere between 100, 200 yards, maybe a little bit more. They'll bed right back down and you'll get another chance at them. So don't ever hesitate to just back off and be discouraged. Push on, and more than likely you're going to get another opportunity to see them, if not get a shot off at them. And obviously when you're walking through a lot of this stuff, these leaves are pretty well frozen, and you can see we still have some snow down on the ground. Some of it's going to be crunchy. You're just not going to be able to beat it. Just mitigate the noise of when you're stepping as much as possible and work through it. If you're hunting on a windy day, don't hesitate to go out on those windy days and do this. Windy days I actually prefer, because the sound of you stepping doesn't travel as far. And a lot of times you'll get a lot closer to them when you're still hunting. So as I'm walking out here, one of the common questions I get from family members, especially that I hunt with, is, Mike, how do you always get on to finding a deer? How do you go into these areas and know that there's deer there? One of the big things that I do is hunting major terrain features. What I mean by that is dips, valleys, draws, any type of ridges. I always go to those areas, especially when I see there's a water source or a food source nearby. It's almost a guarantee there's going to be deer there. So my recommendation, and that's where I'm walking to now, are some of those areas, to go ahead and push some of those, walking through like we had just done earlier. And is it a guarantee we're going to get it? No, that's why we call it hunting. But it doesn't hurt to just go out and try. This is also a great time of year to go out and do some scouting. Go into some of the areas that you didn't want to go during the rut because you don't want to push those nice buck around. Go ahead and find those rubs. Like we were walking up and down this ridge right here, and I was showing you all the rubs that were just around. Don't hesitate to go out and walk those areas. It's just going to make you a better overall hunter of knowing where your deer herd's moving. This property here, I've been blessed to be able to hunt it for about 6 years now. My father-in-law actually got me in here and had previously hunted it, and funny thing is now he's back here hunting it with me too. But it's just going out and learning it, and the first year or two really didn't know the property all that well. But I would come out here in the late season just like this, and I would hunt it just to see what I could make happen and potentially try to get something. So what a better thing to do than to go out and scout for your next hunting season in advance while having the potential of shooting one with a flintlock, and just go out and Maybe you'll find a shed, maybe you'll shoot a deer, you know, who knows? But overall, you're gonna get some knowledge of where those deer are around. So just something to think about and to keep in mind. So I'm walking back up the same path that I drove up this morning, and there are deer tracks all through this. There is more even down lower, but you can see they're clearly traveling up and down this road. The guy that runs the hunting outfit here, essentially, for lack of a better term, it's a hunting lease, but the one that runs it here, he was out checking his traps and said there was 4 deer just out here this morning browsing shortly after I drove in. Of course, I had bumped into him down there and he was telling me about it. So I'm going to circle up and around, do one little push just to see if we can get something moving. Out past that, we'll call it a day and just enjoy the time we were able to walk around. So we'll see what happens. All right, I made it back to the truck here. Obviously, no luck. That's hunting. You're not always going to get something. If it was anything else, they would call it killing and it'd be guaranteed you're getting something. This is not a high fence property. This isn't anything along those lines. This is 100% fair chase. Anybody can get these deer. Like I said before, the state game lands is right above us. So it is what it is. We just enjoyed being out here, walking around, enjoying creation and seeing what all we could see. We did hear some deer up top there, as you guys saw earlier in the video. We'll get back onto them. It's just a matter of time. So we'll try getting another video in here. I can't guarantee that we will, but the videos that we will be doing here in the near future, I'm gonna do some camping videos with my daughters, doing some testing on some hot weather tents and show you our setups that we do. And we'll also be doing some fishing videos come spring and turkey hunting videos. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Just subscribe to the channel. My wife's also going to be doing some cooking videos. I think she already uploaded one. So don't hesitate to like and follow and watch those videos. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.